I work for the Institute of Gamings. The Institute of Games is sort of an alliance for all gaming production companies to get together and talk about anything that's going wrong, and for the last 10 years, I've heard a lot about haunted gamings. Now, I've got funding to look into this and find out more about it. Haunted gaming is where a game is affected by an otherworldly being or entity that just simply doesn't do as the machine has been programmed to do. The first game that we've been given to experiment on was a game called This Is Not a Game. And for legal reasons, I'm not allowed to say who created it or made it, but the thing is, nobody knows who made it or created it. This game doesn't really have any game plan, it's just random things happening and random challenges, and you've got to keep going through with it. Honestly, I don't know how long it lasts. When I say this, I mean this game apparently lasts forever. The last person that played this game bought it in the 90s and completely disappeared from the face of the earth last week, aged 45, and he was completely alone with no family or any kin. Now this experiment is new and we do not know what to expect. I would also like to add it has a catchy and creepy title to start off with, and the weird thing is, this game can be played on any game station, which kinda gives me the message that the person that made this game was way ahead of his or her time. Also, the CD that we have is the only one of its kind in the whole wide world. There are only 2 of us in this experiment. I'm Jim, and Larry is the other who's helping me. We're good friends as well. Larry is the one who's going to play it first. The graphics were immensely amazing for something that was made back in the day, and Larry was simply playing random challenges. He kept on losing, but we all got the feeling it was made that way. It was great with human psychology, and the way it was made for the player to constantly lose and not win. Every time Larry lost, it had said it wanted something from him for payment of losing. Larry was getting kind of addicted to it, and we didn't see Larry for a couple of weeks. We had to hold off the experiment for a couple of weeks because of Larry's absence. I was more into the history of the game and trying to investigate any other person who had experience playing the game. Larry was getting more addicted to the game, and he became more antisocial and became more secretive. I even caught Larry late at night still gaming on that game, and he always lost. We always told him it was impossible to win. The game was never ending, and when I went to Larry's home one evening, the door was open, and I was surprised to find his wife or children were not there. His house was a complete mess. I took Larry into one room, and he looked rough. "Larry, what's going on?" I asked Larry. "Jim, I've lost control over my life," he replied. "Where is your wife and children, Larry?" I asked him. Larry started to cry and shake. I tried to calm him down, and he said to me, "The game, Jim, the game. Every time I lost, it wanted something, and it took my children and kids as well as my parents and cousins. Jim, I literally think it's not a game like the title says. This is not a game. It's evil," Larry told me. At first, I didn't know what to think, but when I did a check on Larry's family and cousins, they were nowhere to be found. I wanted to call off this experiment, but Larry was addicted and he kept on losing. He doesn't have much to give if he loses anymore. I couldn't do much for Larry. None of us could. This experiment has been a total loss. We have found no scientific explanation for haunted gaming, but we, or Larry, has been a victim to it. In the end, Larry disappeared forever from the face of the earth. I really don't want to know where this game takes them. I just stood there staring at the game. You know when you leave the computer on for too long and then it automatically goes on to something else? Well, this game did just that. It automatically went to an image, and on that image were people hanged from a tree. I recognized those people. It was Larry and his family and cousins, plus parents hanging from a tree. I forever abandoned this experiment. I don't know what to think of this experiment.